little bit of maybe smoke, maybe not smoke. Maybe this is true. Maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe there's not any truth to it at all. We don't know. This is smoke season. But a rumor circling around Twitter sphere and everywhere else that the Chicago Bears are going to target Etienne in 2026 free agency upcoming. I'm not here to tell you that's happening. I'm not here to tell you it's not happening. The truth is nobody knows. There's no way Ben Johnson's allowing this information to just sit there right in front of everyone's face, but it's speculative, and sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's certainly a type of running back that makes sense for Ben Johnson. So we don't have any sort of information. Trade Etienne. Hybrid, they can't trade Etienne. He's hold on a second, Hybrid. Let me put this up for you. All right, here are the running back free agents for 2026, Hybrid. He's not getting traded. I mean, could he get tagged and traded? Probably not. But he'd have to. He's a free agent, so he's up for grabs. That's why he's a big name topic. But Hybrid, catch up. We're going to talk about all this and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Running back tags, they could happen, but it's not going to probably be likely, especially when you draft a Bashal Tootin. You're putting yourself in a position where you're spending that kind of capital on a running back. Now, they could bring back Etienne. They certainly could bring back Etienne. Look at Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, how that looked like it was going to be a potential divide, those two going separate ways. Charbonnet staying put, Walker probably going to another team via free agency. That probably isn't the case anymore. That might maybe lessen the saturation of the running back free agent market, though, if Walker is pulled off of this board, let's say. And Etienne ends up, being one of those running backs that has a little bit more ability to command more, so he'll go try and get more if Walker ended up staying. If Williams stays, Walker stays, Breece Hall, he could get tagged and traded. He is definitely a capable player to have that done to him. But also, it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets didn't do that. And the Jets could have had a fourth rounder, which is ridiculously cheap, that the Chiefs were offering. And out of principle, they're like, we're not giving you a Breece Hall for a fourth rounder. And they're like, give us a third. And the Chiefs said last year before the trade deadline, no, we want to do a fourth. Ridiculous for both teams to be squabbling over that. And now the Jets might not get anything for him, which is crazy. But Etienne does fit the bill of a Ben Johnson type running back. This is a Jahmyr Gibbs type player. He'd absolutely thrive in the Bears offense. Ben Johnson has made it abundantly clear that this is the kind of he was asked, let me put it this way. He was asked, do you think you've gained momentum? Have you stacked momentum walking into 2026? He said, no, there's no momentum walking into 2026. Now, I disagree a little bit. I think you can bring momentum in. You could bring positivity. You could bring any of the players that are staying, you're bringing some momentum. You're building off rookie years. You're building off sophomore years. But Ben Johnson's basically telling you it's going to be a much different roster. There'll be lots of players that move on. There'll be lots of players that they move on from, even if it seems like, oh, they'll just get the band back together. Ben Johnson, in his mind, is going to build a better team in his mind. I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying he doesn't have roadblocks. I'm not saying that, a lot of times a first real good run, it gets figured out. There's film on not only the coaching style, but the players. Hard to say, how this is going to shake out, but Ben Johnson's made it abundantly clear in several different interviews that he is going to have a different team. It's a different shot at trying to win a Super Bowl. So he is very much the kind of person that would say, let's bring in Etienne. Swift got the job done. He did really, really well. He's done well for a couple years now, but I don't think Swift is the most reliable player moving forward, even though he's proven to be the last couple of years and shaken free of the injury label. At some point, you got to jump early versus jump late. And I think Ben is exploring that. I think Ben's got Manungai. Manungai looks fantastic. DeAndre Swift has had some injury issues, but it's been a lot lesser than we would have expected 2, 3, 4 years ago when this guy had a huge injury label. But at some point, you do look to move forward. Etienne is on another level than Swift, even if Swift did well. Imagine what Etienne would do. I really do like this fit, if I'm being honest. And you guys know me, I'm not the biggest advocate of Caleb, but I'm a huge advocate of Ben Johnson. I'm a huge advocate of what he can do with the weapons he has and what Caleb's even capable from a fantasy perspective on any given game or any given season because of Ben Johnson. You could be looking at a Etienne that plays even better than he did in Jacksonville in 2025. You might see a 2026 version of Etienne in Chicago that is just ginormously more valuable. But it's hard to say what's going to happen. It's hard to say what they can afford to do. It's hard to say where they're going to focus and push their chips in. It could be that Monangai is the guy that Ben wants to lean on. It could be that Swift and Monangai are what he wants, and that's that. Let's work on the defense. Let's work on the different pieces that are leaving this team where you're not losing your running back stable, essentially. So does Etienne make the most sense? If I had to put a percentage of likelihood that this is true and going to become true, I'd probably say something along the lines of 30%. And that might seem low. 30% that this information is true. Now, could it become actually something that goes down even if it's not true? Yes. Because again, people are trying to get clicks right now. People are trying to act like they got insider information. A lot of Bears pages and Bears writers and beat writers are trying to make a name for themselves right now. They look at something that seems logical. They say, hey, let's pull a name off this board right here. The running back free agents. Let's go with, he needs to be probably traded, but Hall could become available if the Jets don't franchise tag him and trade him. So let's say Hall becomes available. I could just as easily, if I was a beat reporter or some sort of Chicago Bear writer or beat reporter, I could just come out and say the Bears are going to target either Etienne or Hall or Walker this offseason. I have on good authority. And I could just leave that out there. Just dangle that carrot. Nobody could look at it. All I got to say is per source, per Jim, per trust me, bro. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. And there's so many things that could still go wrong. All you got to do is say, oh, you know what? Didn't work out. I mean, these things aren't for sure. I mean, the player's got to want to go there. I can't control that, but they're targeting him and the player didn't want to come, or there was a franchise tag that happened here, or Etienne wanted to return on a hometown discount, which is certainly possible in Jacksonville. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then I just say, oh, yeah, well, there's an unforeseen thing, but they certainly were targeting him. People make up stuff all the time. So this is actually a pretty high percentage chance. I'd even say maybe 20, let's call it 20. Let's call it 20% chance of that this info is true. Maybe, you know what? Screw that. I'd say even 15% chance that the info is even remotely true. And we'll call this like a 25% chance that this becomes an actual thing later, realistically, where this team's like looking at it. They're talking about it. They're in a boardroom. Only a 25% chance that this is in that position during free agency. It's only a 15% chance, maybe even lower, that this information is derived from an even ounce of truth and not just speculation and guesswork by beat reporters that like to pretend they've got the inside track on this and the inside track on that. Look, you can think what you want, but that's the way that this is. That's the reality that we live in. Let me zoom out of here just a little bit. There we go. As for Travis Etienne, the Jacksonville Jaguar Travis Etienne, I'm like sitting here on the screen looking for Travis Etienne. I'm like, I had him on this. Oh, he's right there. He's wearing a Chicago Bear uniform. And that doesn't make much sense to my eyeballs. My eyeballs don't know how to compute that. So let's put the Travis Etienne on screen that we know and love so well over in Jacksonville. What are the odds that this man, Travis mother freaking Etienne, what are the odds that he says, I don't want to go anywhere? I'm not that kind of guy, bro. I'm the kind of guy that rides a tractor, has a farm, and it is a real low-key, down-to-earth dude that doesn't care about a bag. I'm getting paid so much money I'll never be able to spend it. I want to stay put. And I will give a hometown discount if I've got to my team, the team that believed in me when teams were kind of ready to move off me, when news media worlds were saying that I was done, and the way that this guy Cohen is constructing my role and utilizing my skill set and trusting me on Sundays, and my counterpart has a little bit of fumbleitis and he didn't take over. I'm too good. He didn't take over. We're winning. We're a move away from being a top 4 team in the National Football League and playing in a championship game in 2026. Etienne's very, very, very much this kind of guy. Also, the other thing that he said that makes me think this isn't going to happen is he was interviewed and he said, I don't want to play in cold weather. So how is Chicago going to be for him? Now, players will say stuff like that, money will talk. If, let's say, Jacksonville did not want to bring him back, and Etienne said, okay, I got to go find a home, and the only team that comes and knocking with the bag that he needs and required to have versus, and there's other teams that aren't a good fit, and it's the only job he's getting, a starting job, he's going to Chicago, if that's the case. If he was literally not invited back to Jacksonville, the only big offer he gets is Chicago, he's not considering weather. But he has gone on record saying, I don't like the cold at all. I don't want to play in the cold. And somebody says, so does that rule out this team and that team? And he goes, probably. And he goes, oops, I probably shouldn't have said that. So this is why I probably even say, you know what, this feels more like, I don't know, let's put it at 10% likelihood that this is true currently at this moment in time. Now, this is not Etienne's wish. This is that the Chicago Bears are, remember the title of the video, targeting Etienne. So they can target Etienne. They could be, or they will target Etienne. They can do that just because he's a flat out, no, I'm not playing in cold weather. Teams have gone after guys that don't want to play for a certain club, and then they lure him in. So that's why this has to still exist regardless of what Etienne wants. The fact of the matter is, even if it becomes, let's say it's 10% likely that this info is derived on any sort of truth from Chicago, out of Chicago, not have to do with Etienne at all, just that the Chicago Bears are planning to target Etienne, the odds of it actually being true, coming to truth later on, let's say during free agency, 25% chance that the Bears are actively trying to look into this thing. And then you got to factor in the fact that this man has said openly, I don't want to play ball in the cold weather. I don't know. Hey, are you sure? You mean you aren't going to play for, and this reporter listed off 1 or 2 teams that play in the snow. And he's like, yeah, probably not. And then he goes, I probably shouldn't have said that. He knows his agent's going to rip him a new one. But again, he could say it all he wants. It depends on who's going to give him work. Depends on who's going to say, hey, Etienne, you're the starting running back. So I'm going to put this at a more likely to be BS in terms of what's actually out there right now than it being any sort of truth. That's why 10% is a clear indication that, to me, this is a nothing burger right now. It's a good guess of a player that fits the skill set of a Chicago Bears running back in a Ben Johnson offense. But the people reporting on this forget the one small caveat, the one small hiccup and wrinkle in this plan. Etienne doesn't want to play in cold weather. He doesn't want to play in snow. He hates cold weather. He said, I want to play somewhere warm. I promise you that if the Chicago Bears offered him even a couple mil less a year, he's going to take the warm weather and not moving, hometown discount, staying put in Jacksonville than going to play ball for Chicago. I can almost promise you that if all things are equal, minus a significant amount to someone like us, but to him, he's going to say, I'm getting paid 13, 12 and a half or whatever, 13 million a year over with Ben. I get 12 instead of 13 and a half. I'm taking 12. Maybe can you guys give me an incentive or something just to make it feel like I can maybe earn that back? Sure. You get 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns on the year. Will give you that difference or whatever. Like, that's what we're talking about here. This guy ain't going anywhere if the Jacksonville Jaguars want him to stay. Plain and simple. You heard me. That's my stance. I'm standing by it. Phone lines.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Can't wait for all the people that are going to comment without watching the video. Smitty, Etienne's not going anywhere. Just thought I'd drop this comment real quick and help you. I just thought I'd help the show out. Etienne ain't going anywhere. Hope that helps. See you later. I'm not going to watch the video, but see you later. Steve 2546. See you later. DK said he wanted to play in warm weather and then was traded. Well, he was traded, though. He was traded. Etienne will not be traded. So he gets to decide where he wants to go play ball. I mean, could he get tagged? Let me see if Etienne's even got a no tag clause. I highly doubt he does. Travis Etienne. Let's just see. You never know. Pull this bad boy up and it'll say no tag clause, and I'll be laughing out loud. 5th-year option available. No offsets available. Nothing. Yep, nothing. Keep in mind, total guaranteed on his last deal was $12.8 million. His average salary is $3.2 million. 4-year deal, $12 million total. This guy deserves the bag. He'll get the bag, but I have a feeling that Liam Cohen wants to keep this team together. I think he wants to keep the band together as much as possible. I think Liam Cohen thinks differently than Ben Johnson, that there is momentum. And I think, and I do believe in momentum. I don't know why Ben says it that way, but it does tell you what's inside Ben's mind, though. So if anybody says, oh, this is going to be the same, or everything's going to be good, or they're going to build off this, not necessarily. They could do it differently, because Ben's mindset is there is no last year, bring it over. This is a new year, construct new things. You could have setbacks, you could have advancements that aren't in the plan of a normal path of what we're talking about here. Hold on, Bruce. I don't know if I'll be able to hear you yet. Let me just turn on the audio here. I think I might. Go ahead, Bruce. Let me see if I can hear you. You're live.
It's Smitty. You hear me?
There he is, Brucey. Hold on, Bruce. I got your video here somewhere. Let me see if I got to start playing this whenever the Bruce calls. Where is this right here? I got it somewhere. Hold on, Bruce. Where is it? Here it is. The Bruce is, you know what it says?
The Bruce is loose.
The Bruce is loose, baby. Bruce, you're live. Oh, hold on, Bruce. Hold on. Strong just dropped a $20 super chat. You straight up monster, you.
Alert. Super.
Strong, thank you, pal. This is going to be my first full fantasy season watching you. Stoked. You got me loving LV offense, being a Lions fan. Hey, man, that's what it's about, Strong. It's about loving the fantasy football players. But, Strong, you are just getting your feet wet. I'm essentially taking some time off by having maybe, the 8 p.m. show every day, the midnight show, pretty much like we've gone like 4 or 5 days a week. This week I kind of been like a little slacking on that, just a couple nights off. Family's been sick. I know I'm going to get sick here in the next day or two, unfortunately, so I'm going to be doing some shows sick. But everyone's got a cold. Everybody but me is. I'm starting to get it. I can tell. So expect that. But Strong, like, this is me taking time off. 8 p.m. every single night, midnight almost every single night, live when news breaks, and I'm on vacation, essentially. Just imagine what it's going to look like in a couple, weeks. this is me on vacay, baby. Strong, appreciate you. Love that you're here. Strong found us. How did you find us again? Strong, I forget. Were you on Rumble and you came over from Rumble? I forget. Bruce, go ahead. You're live. Thank you, Strong.
You're absolutely correct, Smitty. Etienne isn't going anywhere.
I don't think so.
I don't think, even if they had interest, to me personally, it'd be like, why would Chicago have interest? Swift and what was it, Mungung? I don't know how to say his name.
Munungai.
They both had good years. To me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and these Bears pages, man, they're just trying to act like they got inside information. It's ridiculous, And every it's not just the Bears pages; it's every team page. They think they're a news. No, bro, the amount of people out there pretending to be journalists right now it makes me want to vomit. Nobody has a journalism degree. Nobody's done radio first, at least. No one's written for a company that wasn't their own website that had to prove themselves. None of that. You just create a Twitter account. You create an Instagram account, whatever, and you start talking about your favorite team as a glorified fanboy, and all of a sudden you're a news source. According to my inside sources, I'm being told. You ain't being told shiat. Not jack shiat. Nothing. Nobody. You think someone's giving you information, Bill? You know, Chicago bird nest, you know, on X. Chicago caves. We're here broadcasting live from my Twitter account. Don't show my face because I'm in high school still. And I've got these inside information, these sources that are talking to me, telling me this and that. Like, that's just not the way it works. No one's telling you nothing. Unless your dad's stepping out and he's the cleaning lady, you know, they're at the office, they overhear somebody talking in the boardroom. That's your only shot of getting insider information. Period. No one's telling you nothing, bro. All these little teeny bopper X accounts. But anyway, they're trying to make waves right now. Now, here's what I'd say. I'd say this. I think that potentially Etienne doesn't want to go anywhere, and the Jacksonville Jaguars' intention is to keep him. So I think that's where I put it. I don't want to say with certainty he's not going anywhere, because, man, anything can happen. But I think that what I could say with pretty good confidence, not even certainty, but pretty good confidence, is that the intentions are for Etienne and Jacksonville to bring him back. Because this guy loves where he's at. He's such a homegrown, laid back, not in the spotlight, just good, wholesome dude. And you know, like they interview him and he'll just talk about the most general stuff. Like, this guy's not about being flashy, making a splash, talking about himself. If they don't give him 100 yards, he didn't care. He wants to win. He wins a game and gets 40 yards, he'll take that every time. This isn't A.J. Brown. So I can pretty much with good confidence tell you his intention is to stay, and the intention of the Jaguars is to run it back. But is there a world where Jacksonville gives him a pretty low ball offer and his agent's like, bro, you have me as an agent, trust me, we need to go look. And they take a little gander, and Chicago brings like the thunder. Yes, there's that chance. Again, he's going to say if it's close, hell no, I'm not going to play in the snow. I'm not going to play in the cold. I don't want to do it. So that's going to weigh heavily. But if the bag it's a significant bag difference. Like, we're talking about like a fanny pack full of money versus a duffel bag. Like, that's going to make Etienne say, well, I could get a warmer, like hand warmers, right? So we'll see. But I do think that the intention will be to keep him and not have him move. Go ahead, Brucey. What else you got? Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you. Bruce, what else you got?
Quick question on how do you think they quote unquote performers like
what?
Etienne, he has the people that we call quote unquote journalists.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is just an opinion of mine, and I am an idiot for this, but I say that they have like they're friends of friends, like friends of the athletes, and they say, "Hey, mark my value a lot higher. Just start saying this for me."
No,
I ain't gonna say it. Just say it for me.
Okay, but Bruce, what you're saying would make sense if the person saying they have insider information wasn't a teeny bopper Twitter account that's saying it's the Bears Regional Manor podcast or whatever, or the Bears, Bear Cove Incorporated on X, like radio podcast. It's two kids that created, and good for them. Everybody starts in their basement. Okay. I once upon a time, I didn't have a studio. I was doing it in the corner of my bedroom with a wall built up. Like, everybody's got to start somewhere, but I brought experience. I brought journalism degree. I brought a lot to the table. And I'm not saying you have to have all those things, but to pretend you have sources when you don't even have a lick of experience at all. Like if you said, hey, I did radio for 20 years and you said I got an inside source, you'd be like, okay, kind of believe that. Maybe. Hey, I got a journalism degree. I don't have 20 years of radio, but I have a journalism degree and I know about ethics. And okay, I kind of believe him. Hey, I wrote for this, this fantasy football publication or whatever. It wasn't mine. It wasn't just my website I put up. And I got hired and I worked there for 5 years before I branched out. Okay, you can kind of believe that. None of these, Bruce, no one's telling one of these random little tiny teeny bopper websites or X accounts any of this information. Maybe someone leaked something to Schefter or Rappaport. That's what you're talking about. No one's leaking it to anybody that's unknown. There's no, San Francisco 49ers, Niner, gang 1000 podcast is what we call it. And we got inside information. You know how many fake Niner insiders there are and fake sources, bro? They act like they know everything. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. No one has nothing. No one has nothing, Bruce. I've been doing this. I did radio and scouting players on CBS and NBC Sports Radio for 19 straight years professionally. And been doing YouTube for 8 straight years. Been doing content for over 25 years professionally. I've been doing all this as a professional for 25 years. Only one time have I ever had something before other people. And I don't even know if someone else had it too, but I had it. It was the Michael Turner trade. And it missed the deadline. And that's the only thing I've had in my entire career. No one's calling me up to give me anything. And it doesn't matter how many inside sources I have. You know what happens when I say, hey, I got it on good authority that this is going to happen and it ends up happening? You know what that is? Me getting it from somebody else, which I have pretty credible people that are closer to the situation. They're closer to the train station to let you know the train has already left. That's all it is. That's all it is. You're never going to get a call from an NFL player. You're this little teeny bopper account. Even someone with my size YouTube channel and exposure, whatever. No one's reaching out to me to tell me shiat, bro. Never. It's a ridiculous thing that people claim that they have. According to my sources, you were reading some other beat reporter just a split second than everybody else. Or you're making it up. Plain and simple. Okay, anything else, Bruce?
No, not that I can think of now.
All right, call back if you got another one.
All right.
Hope Bruce doesn't think I'm mad at him. I'm not mad at you, Bruce. Blind Swordsman's on the line. Then over to Rockout. Rockout, let me just go to Blind Swordsman real quick. Blind Swordsman, you are live, young man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Smitty.
Yeah. What's up, Blind Swordsman?
How are we doing in Snowmageddon? Has Arizona gotten hit at all?
Oh no, we're not gonna get any snow or anything like that. I don't know if our weather will change at all. I mean,
I've got some buddies in the other room. I was like, I tell you what, I bet Smitty's live right now. I gotta go see if he's taking calls.
Yeah, you tell the boys you run this ship, bro. We follow you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
we follow you
and right there. You field so many questions. I was just telling them, man, yeah, Smitty's the freaking man.
You like that? You like that? People. You like that other shows? Other shows are like, we're gonna do a mailbag segment, answer 3 questions. Like, okay.
Oh no.
We identified 3 questions.
Ask Wub. What? I mean, freaking Smitty fields like hundreds of questions a day. But anyways,
I also hold a hammer while I answer. Go ahead. You can't see
how
this,
excited are we for Jackson Dart with old John Harbaugh?
Tell the boys in the other room to tell you what I'm doing right now because I know you can't see this. But how excited am I about Harbaugh? I'm really excited about Harbaugh. I will say this. I believe that Harbaugh and Daboll, they're both great coaches. They would have done great either way. But getting rid of Daboll, don't necessarily feel like it was warranted, but what they replaced him with is still damn good, and it's going to work out for both teams. So I definitely am excited about Harbaugh. I think he's bringing in Munkin. is the sound of it.
I was just about to say, if he brings in Monken, oh my God. My buddies are hating me right now, even bringing this up, because I get to keep Jackson Dart as my last pick next year if all goes right. And oh man, but figured I'd at least bring some content over here from the swordsman.
Yeah, the swordsman. Hey, Monken. For people that think Monken's bad, I don't know where they're getting at. First of all, I like Monken a lot, but Monken is responsible for Lamar having one of his best seasons he's ever had, being one of the best fantasy quarterbacks we've seen. So it's great for Dart. Obviously, they run the ball well in a Monken system. Scatterboo's a little Derrick Henry all on his own, and then you've got Malik Neighbors, who honestly, like, Dart loves him. Dart loves Scat. Dart loves Neighbors. So if anybody's got any, like, well, they didn't exactly have like a lot of top 25 wide receivers over the years. Flowers was outstanding last year. He was like wide receiver 9 or 8.
I mean, Neighbors plays predominantly outside, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
Neighbors plays
imagine if
everywhere.
they go grab Mekhi Lemon. Like, I mean, I don't.
Neighbors
I don't
is
know.
everywhere, bro.
I'm just getting excited. I freaking love Jackson Dart, man.
Hide your mamas. Neighbors is bringing the thunder this year. All right, Swordsman, you got anything else?
No, I know it's been a minute. I figured I'd pull you up and see if you're live and show the boys that Blind Swordsman is a regular.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Live Blind Swordsman style.
Mashed potatoes.
That's your boys what I pulled out right now. Sword.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Smitty's the GOAT.
Swordsman, we'll see you later. Blind Swordsman, later.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, Blind Swordsman, ladies and gentlemen. All right, rock out. You're live.
Who's rock out?
I don't know. Who is he? Who is rock out?
I don't know, but I don't think Etienne is going nowhere near Chicago.
Too cold.
Like,
He told everybody.
but
playing the cold. You never know, though. People say stuff like that, and then money changes the conversation, and also needing a job changes the conversation. Can we promise that the Jags want to bring him back? I think I almost can promise that, but we can't. You can't say it's an absolute. They love Tootin. They drafted Tootin for a reason, but I do think the intention will be to bring Etienne back. Now, does Etienne, does his girl control his finances or something? You know what I mean? Like, there's some other layers to this we don't really have. We're not privy to. He could go home and you gotta go get a bag, and he's like, yes, ma'am. Yeah, we have no idea. So that's why there's that open door. But the people that say that the Bears are going to target Etienne, I'm not saying I gave it a 10% chance. I kept lowering it. I think I settled on a 10% chance. And the only way that this would be true is if these people that have insider information everywhere did hear it, and it's slowly coming out of Chicago from something that was said in a small little radio clip somewhere that for some reason didn't get out there yet, and it's starting to spread, and people just jump on it, pretend that it's coming to them when they've really just like, sometimes what you'll find is somebody will be like, this is going to happen. You're like, wow. And you hear it from some beat reporter, but then you just look and it's like a Sean Payton presser that nobody had talked about yet. Like, it happened like a couple hours before. No one watched it, whatever. And it's like inside information. It's not insider information. They just heard it come from Sean Payton's mouth and they start talking about it. But I don't know. We'll see. I just think Ben Johnson's not telling anybody this information. And Ben Johnson makes all the decisions. Could it have come from like let's say Ben said something like, "Oh, Etienne's a good," like when they're Etienne's a good running back. If someone asked him about facing Etienne or something like, he's a great running back. I watched him, whatever. I always thought about drafting him back in it, like something like that. And then somebody just writes this. It logically makes sense. Will they have interest? Will they kick around the idea? Sure. All right, what else you got? Rock out.
Yeah, what do you think about Kenneth Walker's stock if he has another good game?
I mean, he's staying put. I think Charbonnet's not going to be ready for week 1. Walker's played play. One game isn't going to define whether the Seahawks want to keep him or not. And with Charbonnet not going to be ready for 2026, man. Brutal injury. Walker's, I mean, you never know, but I think they want Walker there. Same thing with Etienne. It's kind of a run it back scenario. I don't think either team's going, yeah, we really don't like the way Walker's been running lately. He's been running great. Or especially Etienne. I mean, more likely the case with Walker than Etienne. Like if maybe, let's say, Seattle's like, we really want Breece Hall. Maybe there's something to that, background. We don't know. But for the most part, you got to assume it's open arms, come back, we want you back. But Walker probably more capable. I don't know. They both seem like similar dudes, just really chill. Probably love where they're at. I don't know. We'll have to see. Money's different, sometimes a laid-back player like Walker or Etienne, they can still flip a switch and let their agent handle everything. So, we'll have to see. All right, my boy. You got anything else?
It is curious. I know you kind of explained it, but what do you think is a good journalism etiquette?
Tell the truth. Be honest with what you're doing. Look,
Right.
I'm an interpreter. I don't ever claim to be a news gatherer or a unbiased reporter. That's not what I do. I'm a talking head, opinionated mofo, and that's what I do. I don't come in and pretend I'm, breaking the news. I interpret the news. I try and be first on it for all those that are gathering this specific kind of information, meaning I try my best to hear it from the individual beat reporters. As soon as Schefter, Rappaport report something, I don't pretend to break it like so many other people do. I come out and say, according to Schefter, he just said it. Now let's talk about it. People don't come to me to get the news broken necessarily. They'll ignore the sources knowing that I'll cover it. And they could say, you know what, I don't need to get alerts from Schefter and Rappaport and Trey Wingo and all these guys. Let me just cancel all those notifications. Let me subscribe to Smitty. And at 8 p.m. Eastern or sooner, if it's big, huge news, he'll go live. I'll just hear it from him and I'll get the explanation I need. That's my job. But journalism's dead, bro. Journalism's dead. People don't have any journalism etiquette. You got beat reporters with agendas. No one, a lot of the night, like in that Niner room, especially. There's some of that going on where it's like they're against the team and players, like in some of the questions that they ask. Like journalism is dead, bro. It's dead. Or at least it got morphed into something that we don't recognize, and you just accept it. And the great part about this show is I'm here to try and dissect it and tell you what I think is BS and what's not. I won't get it right every time, but I can definitely sniff out a lot of this stuff when it sounds like a little fishy. But
yeah, you can get a lot of trouble reading into a bunch of people on Twitter.
All I know is trusting people that don't have a track record is kind of wild. So tread lightly. Some of these kids in their mom's basement eating bacon, gaming and eating bacon are just repurposing like the content. And then they're like, we're a news aggregate. I'm not saying it's not fun to follow, other, get notifications about your team. If you're following the Bears, so for example, and you're just following the team pages and stuff like that. But like, it just irks me when people act like they got inside information. All right. Anything else, my boy?
You ever seen the fake Adam Schefter account?
Yeah, he gets everybody once in a while. I get a DM once in a while. People are like, "Bro, did you see it? Like Michael Jordan's gonna play football." Like, no, where Schefter reported it. Are you sure it was Adam Schefter, not Adam Schefter Turner? All right, call into the Dynasty Show if we do a Dynasty Show. I think we might do one real quick.
All right, cool.
Better, bro. Bruce, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, about the earlier show with McCarthy going to Pittsburgh, what percentage are you giving Rodgers to come back? Is it a 50-50 or is it like you think he's actually done?
I'd be an idiot to try and predict this. I think Rodgers is easily as capable of making it look like he's going to come back and then not coming back. And then you got McCarthy in Pittsburgh, and they pretend like they wanted that no matter what. 50-50, man. I think the intention is, Landman, appreciate you. Landman and Hag in the building over on Rumble. I think his intention is good as it can be for Aaron Rodgers, right? But what happens, I mean, look at last year, how long that took, bro. That took forever. I remember I went out of town in like mid-March. And when was it? Like June or July or whatever it was when he announced it. And I thought I was going to be out of town during the announcement, and it took months. No. So,
Because
I don't know.
I saw something where
it feels
was,
like
if I'm right, and I most definitely could be wrong, where he said something on the Pat McAfee's show where it was he already had a verbal agreement. It just wasn't a contract agreement. Like he waited until camp started.
You mean last year?
If that, yeah,
yeah. But
sense.
yeah, he just said, I'm going to work some things out and I'll be there or whatever. But this situation, you know, he pretty much said he thinks he's done. And then that kind of got dialed back pretty quickly, you know, into like a questionable. And then it was like, if he was going to play McCarthy as a coach that he could see himself playing for, then the Steelers all of a sudden interview Mike McCarthy for a head coach job. And then all of a sudden hire him. And then they say it had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. And then they make the announcement, Aaron Rodgers is welcome back if he wants it. The door's open. So you tell me. But either way, like, I still like McCarthy. I don't know why everybody hates him so bad. He's still got upside. I don't know. I like him. I don't know if he's the right fit, but I like him.
What do you think this does for DK?
Certainly better.
Rodgers stuff better.
Certainly better for him. I mean, McCarthy's had like a top 5 to 7 offense, like anytime he's throwing an offense onto the field. So I don't know that he'll have the weaponry for that. He might be like 10 or 12 or who knows, but depends what he gets at quarterback. If he goes against Malik Willis, I kind of am intrigued. You know, if he gets, could Kyler get traded? I don't know.
My quarterback standing is they should go and get Fields again.
Yeah, I mean, I like Fields in the right hands, but not saying Fields is not broken. He's certainly broken. But is he better than Geno Smith from last year? Hell yeah. You know, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Some of these teams don't have options. Not everybody can go get a Bo Nix or something right now. Like, you're literally stuck if you're 2 or 3 teams to where you're going to have to take a gamble on a Fields, a Kyler, a Malik Willis, try to trade for Mac Jones, who the Niners apparently don't want to trade. And I mean, I don't want to hear it. Like, if someone's like, oh, Kyler's trash. Well, I'm not saying he isn't playing like trash, but maybe in the right hands, you get better than you expect. But you have to try something. Tua Tagovailoa. Do I love Tua? No, but can he throw for 4,000 yards and 32 touchdowns? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce. Call into the Dynasty channel if you got anything else. All right, we'll be live in a second.
All right.
All right, later. Sam says, I wanted to add, love Travis's opinion also. I call home the voice. I call him, I think you're trying to say, call him the voice. The Voss. Thank you, Strong. Strong, $10 holler here. Us, as the Fantasy Football Show community, love the idea of having a diversify our teams with the way teams are calling plays, especially the turnover in OCs, man. You know, it's crazy. So weird last year. Last year was weird, but it might be a harbinger of things to come for every season because of the changing offensive coordinators, and schemes are getting demolished after 1 year. I mean, look at Ben Johnson in Detroit, then he leaves, and then we got a lot of weird inconsistency we can't predict. It's just the way it is. I do have a little bit of news here to go over, and then we'll jump over to the Dynasty stream. McCarthy, Steelers, Ravens, Jesse Minter, Giants, John Harbaugh, Falcons, Kevin Stefanski, Dolphins, Jeff Hafley, Titans, Robert Saleh, Bills, hopefully Daboll, but still head coach, needing a head coach. Browns still seeking a head coach. I think it'll probably be Schwartz, internal, which I don't think will be a great move. Cardinals still looking. If they hire Nagy, I think everybody should boycott the Cardinals, including myself. Raiders, we're still hoping that Miami Mike is still in the running. Kubiak. Keep in mind the Bills and Raiders could be waiting for Kubes. And, that situation, Shield House over in LAR, there's a lot of names that potentially could be looked into after these two games get played, or really the Super Bowl gets concluded. But Daboll, this report, Raiders interviewed former head coach Brian Daboll for the vacant head coaching job. We want Daboll in mother freaking LV. That would be unbelievable. Miami Mike McDaniel, a.k.a. Malibu Mike, a.k.a. Mandalay Mike, or Mafia Mike, however you want to say it. Mafia would be in Buffalo probably for Miami Mike, but you could say, Mandalay Mike if he's in LV. So Mandalay Mike or Daboll. Mandalay Daboll. What's Brian? That's Kruger. We need Kruger to think of a nickname. Usually I come up with them, but let's see if Kruger can crack. Hey, Kruger, we're calling Mike McDaniel, who's maybe going to be the offensive coordinator in LA with the Chargers. We're calling him Malibu Mike, or if he backs out and goes to Las Vegas, we'll call him Mandalay Mike for the Mandalay Casino. What would be a good Brian Daboll Las Vegas nickname? Like Daboll's what? Give me like a...
If Brian Daboll ends up in Vegas, let's have fun with it. Picture him as Double Down Daboll, always rolling the dice and calling bold plays. I mean, if you're coaching in Vegas, you got to play with some swagger, right?
I like that. Okay, give me another one. Is there a casino name that goes with Brian Daboll?
Oh, absolutely. Let's go with Blackjack Daboll. He's all about making quick
No.
decisions.
Is there a casino name? Like Mandalay Mike was nice, had a ring to it.
Ah, got it. How about Bellagio Brian? It's got that classy ring to it. Sounds like he's orchestrating a high-stakes offensive fountain show.
I like it. Another one. Give me another one.
All right, let's give you one more. How about Caesar's Daboll? It's got that old school Vegas.
You're done. Double Down Daboll. Love it. All right. Thank you again, Strong. Strong found me on YouTube. Okay, I forgot. Schefter says Dolphins are hiring senior passing game coordinator Bobby Sloak, who came from Houston during Stroud's huge season, and then they fired him the next year and scapegoated him. But I do kind of like Sloak a little bit. I don't think he's the greatest, but I don't think he's that bad. I think he gets a bad rap. There's still a chance he's pretty good. So people can make fun of Sloak all they want, but he might not be good. It might be Sloak. But I like the shot. I think he's worth the shot. Arthur Smith expected to become the next offensive coordinator at Ohio State. The Wicked Witch is dead.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Daboll is...
I smell meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Oh, such a beautiful day. You gotta be kidding me, man. We've been waiting for this. I didn't want Arthur Smith to bleed out some other running back room somewhere. Poor Ohio State. But he's good at running the ball. Good luck. Like, what kind of move is this? Did the wide receiver store just go bankrupt? Did the wide receiver store close for another year or two to reopen later? Are they closed for renovations? What's going to happen in Ohio State? Isn't this supposed to be the place that builds wide receivers? Yes, the answer is yes. It's a rhetorical question. And they're getting Arthur Smith. What's he going to do? I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on here. This isn't really that good news. We're here celebrating, but this is a producer, a massive producer of wide receivers for the NFL. Maybe we're... What are we cheering on? Why are we cheering this on? I know we don't want him in the NFL, but he might ruin some wide receivers. Mike McDaniel canceled his interview with the Bills, unfortunately. So he's not going to be Mafia Mike. Browns, Raiders are still kind of in play, but there's some sentiment that he's going to LAC. It sounds like Malibu Mike will probably be Malibu Mike, but we'll have to see. The Athletics' Dinah Rossini reports the 49ers OC Clay Kubiak. Remember, Shanahan makes a lot of the calls, but he's from the tree, so he's learning a lot. He removed himself from the head coaching vacancies and will remain in San Francisco. I think he realizes he's not getting any, bites, and Shanahan probably said, "Let's give it another year, and I'll get you ready." So he's staying put. Bellagio, Brian, aka Double Down Daboll. Raiders interviewed him, like I said, for the head coaching job. We're really hoping that pans out. We should have everything covered now. I think I did all this. For those that have been sleeping under a rock all day long, we went live on this. McCarthy is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there it is. Do I have anybody on the line? No, I don't. Okay. Guys, that's it. Unless somebody wants to dial in real quickly, I'll answer one or two more questions. We'll keep it snappy. A rapid speed, as Kruger says. Keep it quick and short and sweet. Thank you, Strong, for the super chats tonight. Appreciate you very much, my young man. Can't thank you enough. While we await a phone call, does anybody want to get Bijan? I mean, why not?
Get Bijan.
Blackjack Brian. That was kind of out of pocket. Blackjack Brian. It kind of has a nice ring to it because it's so ridiculous. It's like not even that good of a nickname, Blackjack Brian. He starts doubling down. I think Bellagio Brian's pretty good. And Double Down Daboll's not bad either. Let's see what this says. This looks either good or bad. Says, I also just found Smitty this year in my league after my league finished. Back-to-back second place in Dynasty League. This show and its content is great. Never turning it off next year. Let's take it to the moon, pal. Let's take it to the moon. Appreciate you. Standing ovation.
I smell meatloaf.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. All right, guys. I'll be live. I don't know if you know my guy that we have a Dynasty channel as well. So everybody meet on the Dynasty channel in 5 minutes. Anybody have any topics? Do we just carry the Etienne Dynasty conversation over? Or maybe rank them? I think it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's not relevant yet because it's still such a rumor I don't believe in. What other topic can we do Dynasty-wise? And we've done a lot lately, and I don't want to overlap on something we've already covered, and I kind of forget what we discussed. But what are we doing? ETN Dynasty value? Okay, we got one vote for it. It's not bad. I mean, we might as well do it. We're covering it right now. We'll cover it anyway. Tootin' and ETN. That's a good one. That's a good twist there, Ray G. I like that. All right, guys, we'll be back on the Dynasty channel. Please get on over there. Link is in the description of the video. See you on the Dynasty channel in about 5-10 minutes. Thank you, Strong, for all the supers. Thank you to my Rumblers. I got Hag and Landman. Appreciate you guys on Rumble. That link is in the description as well. Make sure you're following all 3 channels to my new people. And hit that like button on the way out the door. And please hype the video if you guys can. I don't know if some of you know that you can hype videos. It's kind of like triple liking it, and it just lets YouTube know how awesome it is, right? So you should be able to hype any video during its first 7 days. and it just helps. It's like triple liking it. It's just a way to really show. You get only so many hypes a week, so it really makes you decide what your favorite show is. So it really helps. Appreciate you guys. All right, see you in like 5 to 10 minutes.